levels are jumping.
Are they? Okay, cool. Well, again, welcome to the Squares of the Round Table podcast. What number are we on?
Episode 161.
161. Jeez, I can't believe we've done this many of these. No, absolutely. We have somebody in the audience right now. It's Kim. Hi, Kim.
Greetings.
Again, if Kim wants at some point and doesn't get freaked out or scared, she can pop up and talk. But yeah, no, absolutely. What did you get? Well, I know you had power problems this week, right?
Major. Yeah, we had a big storm come through McHenry County Tuesday night. Of course, an hour before I got home from work. And I was like, yeah, I can post the episode of the podcast and record it on Monday, and I'll have that ready to go Tuesday night. Then, of course, the power goes out, and yeah, that happened, and a tree hit my roof.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, not a tree branch, not the whole tree.
Okay.
but it was a pretty big tree.
Did the guy from, like, Spider-Man show up and be like, we're going to help you, like the farmer's guy or whatever his name is?
No. Oh, well, the thing is that it hit the roof. It hit the pavilion behind the garage. I don't know if you've been in the backyard when we were over for the Black Widow barbecue.
Yeah, I saw bits and I saw a little bit.
Yeah, the backyard, like right behind the garage, there's a pavilion over the garage, and there's a big maple right there. And a branch came off that maple, and it hit the roof. It didn't damage the roof, but it did hit the awning, hit the fascia board and the headers so hard, it drove one of the three posts holding up the pavilion, drove it into the ground about 2 inches like a golf tee.
Wow.
So the two big headers are cracked, and there's no damage to the roof, thank goodness. We got that, we had to have the tree branch removed and a lot of, obviously, all the brush. So that's all gone, and I haven't gotten to the power yet. Hold it. It gets better. But the damage to the house is negligible and quite fixable, and we've had the adjusters over. We had an estimate already, and the insurance, the wheels are in motion, so the insurance, that's why you have homeowners insurance people. So that's been resolved. But the power was out Tuesday at around right when the storm hit, about 7 p.m. local time. And we got power about 58 hours after that. And
Jesus.
That's 2.5 days.
That's
bad.
Ridiculous.
Well, thankfully, no food was lost. We have a generator. And, well, of course, we used the generator for just the food and the sump pump. But we didn't get any rain after that, so we don't have to worry about the water levels rising and the sump pump, flooding in the basement, the lack of power in the sump pump. But we got that done. But thank goodness, I had to go to the gas station and just buy gasoline, and just take the can out of the back of the truck and just I need gasoline. And there's quite a few generators running in my neighborhood. And some people didn't have generators, and they lost all their food. And it's like, it sucks. Because I've heard of some people who have, like, those big storms where they're like, okay, we can't save any of this food. Let's cook it all and have the whole block over. But, yeah, we didn't have to do that. We didn't.
No, thank God. Yeah. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it sucks. So, I had my super bright flashlight. Taking showers by flashlight. Yeah.
No.
Well, it's not like, I have to hold it in one hand and the soap in the other. No, it wasn't like that. I mean, anyway, yeah, it sucked. So, but 2.5 days, because then there was several street closures. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, go ahead.
Well, there were several street closures in my area because this tree had knocked over, literally snapped a phone pole. And so, like, Home Avenue and Meadow back by me was blocked. The tree, not only did it take the power pole down, but a whole tree fell on it, so the road was blocked. And so Thursday night, they were putting the new pole in. Of course, people just watching, recording it with their phones. Like, come on, people. Just, like, let them do their job. So, okay, so power's going to come on Thursday night, yay. And then 6:30 comes by, and then 7:30 comes by, and then it's dark, and then they're still driving through the neighborhood, holding spotlights up to every power pole and transformer in the neighborhood. So about 5:30 in the morning on Friday finally got power. So then it's when I posted Monday's episode of last week of our show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're none the worse for wear, but, but we didn't, thank goodness nobody got hurt, and the damage to the house was not where I had to, we had to leave the house. It became...
I feel like that is when you find out how really prepared you are for things like, how good are your flashlights is when that stuff happens. It's never like...
Flashlight batteries.
Right. You never do that stuff when you should do it. It's always when something happens, you're just like, I should have done this years ago or months ago and checked all this stuff. And it's we never do. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's always never fails. It's I should have gotten a better flashlight.
I look like a guy with a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah,
the generator thankfully ran for pretty much from dawn till dusk for 2 full days, and it ran without a hitch. So, yay.
No, absolutely.
Just ran the fridge. So, that happened. That was my week. So, Friday night, posted the episode. Saturday, had my friends over. Hey, come on back of the house and look at my damage. See how damaged I am.
Jesus.
So then we had a game night Saturday, and then Sunday spent the day.
So what'd you play on Saturday?
We played the Game of Thrones card game, and I watched one episode of Game of Thrones. So all I know is Peter Dinklage is Lannister, and Daenerys is with the dragon people. So that's all I know of the Game of Thrones is. So this was
what's
new
his name?
territory.
Aquaman's in it, right? Aquaman's in
Aquaman, my man.
That's one of those shows that's I haven't gotten around to for some strange reason. There's that, and what's the other one I haven't? Breaking Bad. None of the Breaking Bad stuff I've got to either.
I watched the finale. I cheated when the show was ending. I watched the 2-part finale, and some things that were going on I didn't know.
Yeah, you know what I did that for? I did that for Lost.
You watched the Lost finale?
I watched the Lost finale. I watched the thing before the Lost finale, and then I watched the Lost finale. Okay. And considering how bad the Lost finale was, I was I'm so glad I never wasted time on this show. I'm so glad. I was so thankful that I was okay, I didn't waste 1 minute on that show. I was so thankful. It was oh God. And I had other friends who were that was so horrible. I can't believe the ending was so bad. And I'm you wasted all that time. I shouldn't be like that. I'm sure there's been shows where I've been that's the end?
How many Lost Facebook pages are there? I don't think there are any.
Oh, they're
dedicated to that show?
Yeah, there's still stuff out there. Okay. I think.
There's a fandom for just about everything now. So
yeah.
I'm sure there's people out there. Speaking of people out there, Ivan's in the room. He's muted, so
I didn't do it.
Unmute himself. So
I don't know how. I don't know if he knows how to do it.
I got it.
Yay, Ivan!
That's a small miracle.
Welcome, Ivan.
How you doing, guys?
All right. Enjoying my electricity.
Huh?
What's for dinner?
What's for dinner?
What's for dinner? Baked potato, Caesar salad, and fish.
Okay.
All right.
What kind of fish?
What kind of fish is it? Tilapia.
Tilapia. Oh,
very healthy. Very good.
Yes. How are we preparing that? If it's fried, Mike.
It's baked.
Baked. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good. Sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I love Caesar salad. I'm a sucker for Caesar salads.
Yeah, well.
I love me some Caesar salad now.
Man.
Now, when you have a Caesar salad, is it that you got to have the anchovies with it or no?
No, I don't have the anchovies with Caesar salad.
Never eaten an anchovy, and I'm glad to say it.
Have you really? Wow. Okay.
Never
They're too salty for
Never
me.
Will.
Anchovies.
I don't think it's a real Caesar salad without having the actual anchovies and all that stuff in it. Otherwise, it's just you just get the dressing. It's okay, that's
and
Caesar
the grated
salad.
Parmesan cheese.
Well, yeah. Well, I had the grated Parmesan cheese. I had the dressing, and I had everything. Just no anchovies. I mean, I'm not a big anchovy person because it's just too salty a fish for me to deal with. But other than that, it's good. I just had it. I like the way Julie makes it. Besides the Caesar salad, I like when she makes an actual salad wedge, when she just takes a head of the lettuce and just wedges it out and it just builds this beautiful salad around it. It's really, really good.
When I take a salad wedge, I just pretend it's cheese.
There you go.
Cheese wedges.
Yeah, well, it's amazing how much a wedge costs these days, by the way. Like just to okay, we'll sprinkle some blue cheese and some bacon and put a couple grape tomatoes on it, and then we'll charge you like $15. It's like, what? Are
they charging you by the shard or what?
I don't. Well, no. I mean, I'm just talking about like when you buy it at like a decent restaurant.
I'm sure Julie's salads are a lot cheaper.
Well, Julie's cheap.
No, Julie does know how to stretch a dollar when it comes to making a meal. She does.
All right.
Yeah,
She's got a gift with that. By the way, hi Kim and hi Barbara. We got a couple of young ladies over here in the room. How you doing today? How's it going?
Yeah, Kim came in earlier and she's like, "What exactly are you doing?" We're like, "Well, we're recording our podcast." She's like, "I can come out. Is it okay if I come up and hang out?" I'm like, "I don't know. Wait till you find out what we do before you start like making that assessment or not."
Well, you know, they're coming in for the unexpected, for the
seriously,
for the for the just out of the left field situations. That is the square.
Is the truck backing up or is the food ready?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh no, that was our ancient microwave. How many years is this, honey? 25 years at that microwave.
That's proper
my favorite part is the funny part is we really should just get Julie Mike.
23, and it sounds like a truck backing up there. Yeah, okay. 23-year-old, but still working.
So sometimes sometimes I feel like we should just have Julie Mike.
Power situation resolved, so I didn't have much time to watch. I did finish season 1 of Stargirl, so you can't.
Oh my gosh!
God! It's a fucking miracle.
Waving my finger. I told you I was going to finish it, so I did.
Yeah. Did you watch the first episode of season 2?
No, I couldn't. Power was out.
The reason why
I had no power.
he finished it up because he was in the dark for 58 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
So I finished that. I got watched the season finale of Bad Batch on Disney Plus. And it's fine. It's okay. I'll watch season 2 maybe, but it has, it was all right. And I watched the first episode of What If. We'll get into that later.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll be happy to let you know that I came back with my with my I don't know how you like that.
Your Caesar salad?
Skunk?
No.
Your tilapia?
Skunk in your Caesar salad?
No. To talk about this Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Yeah, we Jeff and I dissected it properly this week or last week, so we'll get it. I will get Ivan's take on it later.
Yeah, let's.
You'll listen to my take on it later. I think you might find it interesting.
All right.
Maybe our audience will find it interesting too. Maybe. Because again, I'm not deep in the hoopla like you guys are, so I got a whole different slant on what excites you and what doesn't excite you. So yeah, I'll have plenty to say about that.
Problem.
Well, no. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Then. Anyway, so where are we going from here, boys? What are we doing?
Let's see. Well, that was my on Sunday. Spent a day cleaning the yard, getting all the brush and little sticks and leaves, and just getting the yard back to normal.
Did you do your usual mowing?
Yes, because I had to mow up all the leaves that fell off the tree. Of course, all the brush got taken away. But yeah, Ivan wasn't here. Ivan wasn't here when I explained my storm story. So, short.
So did you turn it into mulch?
No, it's gone. We had the branches removed.
Oh, okay.
Because cool. Branch hit the pavilion on the back of the house.
Ouch.
But the insurance is taking care of it. So.
Well, there you go.
Happy ending.
Hey, by the way, gentlemen, I don't know if you caught this. So apparently, Pepsi is teaming with the Boston Beer Company to make their version of some sort of like a hard seltzer. They're calling it Hard Mountain Dew. It's going to have 5% of the alcohol, the volume, and of course it's going to be like Mountain Dew. I'm curious if it's going to have the caffeine to it. So the flavors supposedly are going to be the classic Mountain Dew flavor, black cherry, and watermelon. Supposedly 0 sugar in all of them. Go figure. But it should be
but there's enough alcohol.
Well, it's almost like, okay, let's just add the alcohol and the it's like, hey,
I don't know, I can't see myself drinking a hard.
You know what this reminds me of? I'll tell you who will drink this.
Who will drink
the
this?
people who are doing like the Red Bull and the vodka.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
those people are doing this. That's
the Red Bull.
Because that's a thing.
Well, I know Red Bull. I know Red Bull and vodka is a thing. I was in Deerfield, going out on a Friday night with my ex-boss and everything, and it was always, Red Bull or some kind of energy drink with vodka, and it's just like until until they started checking into it and saying, yeah, this might not be a good idea to be drinking of energy drink along with alcohol.
You think? What gave that away? But yeah. Well, I think I've mentioned before a time where I was doing like one of the guys one of the places I used to work where he was doing Rockstar, and he got me to buy a bunch of it, and I don't know if I told you guys about this. So it was like one of the younger guys was doing Rockstar, and he was like, oh yeah, it's helping me out during my day. So I bought like a couple cans, and like I power chugged like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh.
Yes, enough. Thank you, Doug.
Potato. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. I would have used potato at that point, but
vodkas are potatoes.
Yeah, vodka is made from potatoes, so I would prefer the vodka version, please. Ivan should have to have the vodka version of the potatoes.
Isn't that where vodka comes from?
Yeah, vodka that comes from a potato.
Yeah, so
one of the great lines in Fast Time. No, I'm sorry. Down and Out in Beverly Hills with Bette Midler.
Yeah, she's in there too.
Yep.
And Richard Dreyfuss. But yeah. Wow, yeah, it was really bad. I mean, we both walked into our boss's office and we're like, we need to go home. Like now. We can't stay. And that was the end. That was the last time I ever did. That was the last time I ever did like an energy drink kind of thing, because I was just like, nope. I learned my lesson after that.
Wow.
Powered through those, and it was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like the crash was so bad.
Yeah, you're sitting there, you get home, and then once the alcohol wears off, then you're wired because.
Oh, I'm not even talking about alcohol. I'm just talking about the amount of. I mean, I chugged like 3 of those Rockstar.
Yeah, and those are terrible,
man. In like an hour.
And dude, you could have gave yourself a heart attack, man. That's crazy.
Oh, it's funny because like I was like.
You got through it.
Am I gonna? Well, it's the part where it's like you said about getting home. It's like I was like, if I don't. Oh yeah.
When you got home.
Oh no! I got home.
You didn't do the drunk dance. Drunk.
Well, I wasn't drunk.
It wasn't drunk. It was just an energy crash.
I was just depraved of energy at that point. It was like the crash was brutal.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, like I said, I figured I'd mention that. I don't know. Oh,
Mountain Dew Seltzer. Okay, sure.
And here's the other one. I don't know if this is the craziest one. They're introducing a 2-story Taco Bell.
Yeah, you posted that article on the Squares page.
Yeah.
Is that right up there with the 3-story, the 3 stories, coffee place, Starbucks downtown?
I don't know. Well, supposedly this is some new concept where they're going to have it where you can.
It's
use
like a Howard Johnson's over the overpass. It's like there's 4 lanes, there's 4 drive-through lanes, and there's Taco Bell.
Yeah, it does look like it does look like the Oasis.
Like an Oasis.
It's like the Oasis here in Chicago. Yeah, it does. It kind of does.
Yeah. So they lower the food. So they lower the food via a rope or something. No,
I don't think so.
In the drive-through lane.
Well, I know it. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It looks like they kind of did a little bit of it. Looks like the 50s McDonald's downtown a little bit.
Okay.
a little bit, but not a lot. I mean,
they should have never tampered with that downtown. What they did to the rock room.
Yeah, whatever. Well, but in fairness, they still do a lot. That McDonald's still does a lot of business.
Yeah, it does a lot of business, but I remember going down there, having my food, playing the jukebox, checking out the Beatles statuettes, and throwing my little coins in between the slots, and checking out the games and stuff like that. It had a real nice, kind of a down-home appeal to the whole thing, and the fact that I could sit there and eat my McDonald's and listen to a classic 10-15 Wurlitzer jukebox playing repressed 78s, man. It's just cherry the cake on my day.
As we got a little bit, like for example, now the 50s would be what would be the 80s. Like if you did an 80s McDonald's, I think that would, like, people would be like,
that would go over huge.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That would go over huge.
Right. So I think that's
radical.
Kind of, yeah, totally awesome. Yeah. But I think that's kind of where that got changed, and that's why.
Right. I see what you're saying.
But I don't.
I know. I see what you're saying with that. But here, talk about nostalgia and such. Something I read on the internet about the changing face of products. Okay, I know we're right in the midst of all matter of cancel culture and all matter of things going on right now, where we're trying to repent for past sins of advertising and such. What makes me crazy is that you get the Land O'Lakes. They took the Indy away, but they kept the land on the label. That just kind of makes me think a little bit about
Land O'Lakes.
It's still Land O'Lakes.
Yeah, but do you see the premise I'm getting at here? No more Indian, but yeah, they still kept the land. Yeah.
Well, it's the name of the butter, man.
Yeah, it's the name of Land O'Lakes.
So
anyway,
the rebranding of products. What's your point, Evan?
Well, the rebranding of products, okay, because just like it's all about nostalgia and everything. Have you noticed that Ronald McDonald hasn't made any appearances anymore?
He's in rehab.
Yeah, he was with Grimace.
Did he go the way of the Planters Peanut? When they killed him off in 2020, why was he just too creepy?
Clowns are traditionally, usually not good.
Well,
I don't know. I just wonder.
Well, I know that motion pictures have made clowns out to be this evil presence, although they've always been a sense of mystique throughout their existence.
Mystique?
About being with the painted
The
face.
mystique of clowns.
I don't know.
There is a mystique of clowns. It's true.
The mystique of clowns.
I don't know what creep is underneath all that makeup.
That's right. So
That's
that being said, you have to thinking.
Where Ronald McDonald's been?
Huh?
Where Ronald McDonald? Where is Ronald?
Where is Ronald? I read an article, and I guess the fact is that that they did a poll, and they said that children are more afraid of clowns than they like clowns. 87% of children are frightened by clowns. And of course, if they've had the bad time of having gone to the circus and seen the clowns live, and depending on your experience about this. And of course, also too, you got the changes that are happening with all the product and everything like that. I saw the Aunt Jemima, product bottles and everything without Aunt Jemima's picture on it no more. And and then of course I also get to thinking about all of those things long past about, what used to be just totally commonplace, and now it's just like, my gosh, it seems like, has advertising fallen into a sense of barrenness now? Can we have?
It's changing with the times.
Changing with the times, but to the point of, does it lose its
Julie's right.
Its entertainment appeal because It's just that, less entertainment.
Well, yeah, it's got to be politically correct now. Everybody is sensitive about everything.
Well,
that's true.
I'm
And some
sensitive
things
about
are
this
rightly
podcast.
So, but
yep.
Rightly so.
rightly so, some things.
Some things, yeah.
Right.
Goes to the voter for it.
Well, just,
Did we figure out where Ronald McDonald went yet?
No.
No,
I'm thinking he's at the Ronald McDonald
Wait for
house.
the circus.
no. Ronald McDonald's was officially retired.
Yeah, like
Like
you don't
several years
see
ago.
those commercials anymore with every month there'll be a new Happy Meal to promote some kids movie.
We were the preyed upon generation for quite some time about this stuff.
Oh
Literally,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
like,
you were the selling point to all those toys being in those Happy Meals and everything.
Yep. There we were.
And in fairness, it's just because we haven't. There hasn't been anything in a while that's been in Happy Meals that has made people go nuts. Like when they had that whole thing where they did like the Beanie Babies and they had them in Happy Meals, then everybody went nuts for that. But there hasn't been something in Happy Meals in a while where everybody's like, "Oh, I gotta get that."
I need to get all the Happy Meals, right?
Didn't they at one point? Didn't they?
King came out. They came with two halves of the Pokeball inside. They had, I don't know if you remember, you had either a card or they had like a little miniature, like little figurine of one of the Pokemons.
Well,
inside.
the one that I remember was the one where the Pokeball, when you snapped it open, it had a alleged 24-karat metal.
Well,
Pokemon
some of them.
Card.
Yeah, some of them did. But the thing is, they had to take those. They had to recall those because
they kept throwing them at everybody.
Because they didn't have this.
Look, I had McDonald's as a client for a while, and I had this conversation with them, and the amount of stuff that they have to do to make sure that a product is safe, and I'll tell you now, like if a product isn't safe, I have a big problem with it, and it's funny. Like I think that vendor lost their exclusive status to work with McDonald's and everything, and that could be millions of dollars to a company like that, where that could really screw them up. So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, like you said. I mean, just like I don't know, they don't do some. There's a lot of things they don't do anymore, like like the Olympic thing. They used to do like the Olympic thing, where it's like if you scratched off this thing and they won a certain medal, then you
McDonald's lost their shirt in 1984 because of that.
Did they? No, but they were doing it later than that. I feel like they were doing it even as late as the 90s.
No, it's like every time like somebody got a gold medal, you can go get a Big Mac. And so,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Then there was the Monopoly game that.
Well, they still run Monopoly once in a while, but not like it used to be.
Yeah, because I know there was some controversy.
Yeah, it's the whole Netflix documentary about how it was rigged.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I had a pretty shitty week. So,
but apparently you have not been retired like Ronald McDonald.
No, I've not.
Right.
And I've been located.
Nobody put a Pokemon ball at you.
I've not gone missing. Yeah.
I just really want to know what you do at a 2-story Taco Bell. What could you possibly have to do there?
Well, they'll build it up like the old McDonald's, 50s McDonald's. Maybe they'll fill it up with games and they'll fill it up with amusements.
The article is on the Squares Roundtable Facebook page if you'd
like
to take a gander.
The only thing I can think of
that's just a thought off the top of my head, that's what I would do.
To me, the only thing I can think of is okay, so what? You're doing frozen margaritas on the top level or something? Or
we're the
Well, we got one of those Taco Bells down here.
The upper crust of the Taco Bell clientele.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, cantinas, they're called. Taco Bell cantinas. We got one right here on Milwaukee. And yes, they do serve booze.
Right. I know those exist, but like I said, if you're doing a 2-story thing like that, I gotta imagine it.
Do you think maybe they're going to start They're going to start having waiters actually come to your table and actually bring you your food?
I doubt it. That's what they'll do. That just doesn't seem.
Oh my God, darling, guess what up? We're gonna go do something good tonight. What's that? We're gonna go to Taco Bell, the new 2-story place. We get to dine in style.
Right.
Well, just remember, in the end, Taco Bell wins the fast food wars.
That's right. Every restaurant becomes a Taco Bell, and
right, according to the Demolition Man.
That's
so
right.
There you go.
So Jeff, how was your week?
How was my week? It was, we had a, interesting week this week. I'm working on a couple pieces, some stories for, so I guess, WDEZ in Chicago is looking for 77-second bumpers from some people to put together some quick stories that they can run between certain things on their station. And so somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you think you got anything for it?" And I said, "I think I do."
Ooh.
I mentioned the one thing. I think I've told this story. I think I've told the Jesse Jackson story here. So here, and this will be a good thing. Kim will enjoy this. Who's in our audience? She'll get a kick out of this. So I'm working at the old Sun Times building back in the late '90s, and I had to go to the bathroom. And so the bathroom was around the corner. So I go into the bathroom, and I'm at the urinal, and I hear somebody come in, and I kind of look to my right, and I'm like, "Wait, is that who I think it is?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I can't."
Yeah, you're doing your business. It's awkward. Men
right,
don't make eye contact with each other.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know about this. But I want to look again, and I'm like, because I'm like, okay, is that who I think it is? And I'm like, all right. I'm going to look again. And I look again, and I'm like, I think that's who it is, but I'm not positive. So I go look a third time. And he's like, yeah, I am the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and I am peeing in the urinal right next to you.
Oh.
Interesting.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
And so that's not the house. So I walk out of there, and then I run into Jesse's gigantic bodyguards. Which I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, these guys were huge. I mean, they made like the bare offensive, defensive, and offensive linemen look small.
Wow.
And so I tell them about what happened, and not one. There's like three other guys, and none of them want to believe me. Not one. Not one of them are going to believe me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, I'm like, you're kidding me. And they're like, no, we think you just made that up. I'm like, okay, fine. So, like, we're leaving that night, and, we're leaving the building, and I'm annoyed, because I'm like, I can't believe how they would think I would make this thing up. So, as we're walking across to get to the Marina Towers, where my car's parked, as we're walking across IBM Plaza, someone goes, "Hey, there's Jesse Jackson." And so we look across wait, here's the best part. We look across the street, and there's Jesse walking out of the old Sun Times building. And he looks straight at me, he winks, and then he waves. And they're all looking at me like, that story was real? I'm like, yeah, it's real.
Once you stand next to somebody at the urinal, there's quite a connection. You got
yeah, well, but it was
an emotional
really funny.
bond.
Yeah, well, like I said,
connection.
Oh,
No big break.
I don't know. That's a flowing moment,
Yeah, well, but the point was, as I told this to the person who was looking to do bumpers, I'm like, you think they'd take that story? She's like, are you kidding? You have to tell that story. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll figure out how to cut that down.
How to compress it down into
yeah. So I was like, all right, sir, I'll figure that one out. That'll be. But yeah, no,
I totally submit that.
Yeah, so
I would.
That was the one crazy part about working down in the old Chicago Sun-Times building when we had that opportunity and we were there. It's the one thing, Ivan, I will say is like, it was the one time working for WNDZ that worked out. I was working at the Sun-Times building, and you never know who you'd run into or what kind of crazy crap was going on down there.
What year were you working at the Sun-Times building?
When did this happen?
God, I want to call it. God, it's got to be either 97 or 90. 97 or 90. Well, no, I would call it probably 98. Somewhere around 98.
Yeah, reason being because Julie used to go to school at that building.
No, you know what? I take it back. No, it has to be later than that because I was down there for. No, I got news for you. I was down there around 2000. I was down there around 2000. I was down there because I remember that we had. There was a guy we used to have, and I swear every day before Y2K, he'd sit there and he'd talk about how you better buy gold because everything's going to go to hell. You're going to buy gold, everything's going to hell. And then, because the whole Y2K scare.
Yeah.
And then, like, the day after, he, like, goes on and acts like nothing freaking happened, like he didn't say anything. He was like, well, gold's enough. I'm like, what? You can't do that.
You can't take it back.
Well, he didn't even say anything. He just acted like everything was normal. Like, he didn't say, like, the sky was falling. And I'm like, wow. That's some balls. So, yeah, I'm working on...
If your middle name Chicken Little, I mean, you know...
Well, like I said, it's just one of those where it's like at the end of the day, they just want to sell gold and
they wanted to placate their advertiser.
Right, you know, sky is falling kind of thing. Well, again, they were the advertiser. That's why they were doing it.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
you know, but
what
yeah,
else you been doing?
So I saw, you know, so I did that, and then we had Sunday Night Stories last night, and we had, you know, we had somebody who really told like a really heart-wrenching story. And she had never told that to anybody in public before, so I was like, wow. And I don't want to get too much into it here, but it was really, you know, it's one of those things where it's like sometimes I get frustrated because, you know, we don't have the audience that I want for some of these, and sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, why am I still doing it? And there's an example of where I'm glad we did it because it gave this person an opportunity to open up and use that opportunity to talk a little bit about something they otherwise weren't going to talk about. And so I give them credit for that. So.
Well, you give yourself credit for that because, you know, as a disc jockey, whether you play to one person or you play to 1,000, you're going to touch somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So never lose the thought of that whole thing. The other week, I was talking with my friend Glenn Hall in England, and he hit me to something that happens on Twitch. Okay. And I'm sitting there thinking, I got 10, 12, 14 people on Twitch. He goes, no, but what you don't understand is that you got thousands and thousands of people downloading your soundtrack while they play their games. And right now, you ended up with the grand total of 1,600 people listening to your thing while you're playing.
So can you look into the analytics for that and actually see how many downloads your show gets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see that? Okay, good.
I think you can.
It's not just about people who are watching live. But the problem with you with Twitch is that almost immediately after you're done broadcasting, is that they mute some of the copyrighted music.
Well, the trick is that really what he should be doing is he should be downloading it himself, so that way he's got a copy.
Well, Facebook does it while you're doing it, and so if I had to choice between one or the other, I'd rather go ahead and at least get through one show without having to worry about it, you know. And you know what? Sit there, record the programming, and then have it happen elsewhere. That's fine. Because, if you have a choice, unless, of course, you go with Big Cloud, but then now you're getting into money. I mean, they cover all the licensing and everything like that on Big Cloud and everything like that, but I just don't have that kind of money to borrow nor to invest right at this time. So, I'm getting my new place, I'm getting other things happening, so. And, I did my last hurrah on, Saturday. For spinning wheel and pretty much just to do it. I mean, I got other things I got to take care of now as far as like anything else. So yeah, I mean, I'll maybe do a Twitch every now and again, but as far as like Facebook, I'm pretty much done with the whole thing. Besides, I'm just giving, a lot of things a rest. I'm giving spinning wheel a rest. I'm giving that whole situation of rest and everything like that. And of course, also too, with what's been happening with the COVID and everything, again, that's kind of taking some things out of the equation for the future. So, yeah, so the big
Well, I've said to you a couple times, you should do stuff in here. I mean, there's a lot of people doing music here.
And okay, what I got to do now is I have to get another connector because my connection.
No, you don't. Do what Mike's doing.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is,
you need a love connection.
Well, not just that. No, I mean my connector, the one that I use for all of my.
Okay, an actual connector. Okay, not
an actual connector.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I left it at Kohl's or I lost it along the way. I haven't used it the last couple times, so. But it doesn't seem to sound.
Yeah, but there's other ways to do that. If you could do it through your computer or your laptop, or even you could do it through Club Deck.
Oh yeah, If I had a computer
or a laptop, but I don't have either one. So
Well, you have what, an iPad, right?
no, I have a regular little itty bitty phone.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, so that just kind of limits my possibilities. But the fact that I was able to do what I did with the connection,
You didn't die.
You okay, Evan?
yeah, I'm fine. What I was able to do with the connection and everything that I made up, and it sounded so good, I was real happy about it. You
Okay.
know, so once I get my new connector, and then in the future, we'll see what happens. But like it says right now, more importantly, I have to get the new home, which of course is it's a pain in the ass all of itself, because the fact that they provide you with certain tools and they provide you with certain criteria and paperwork and everything to get an apartment, but then when you try to go get the apartment, then you got the people who have the apartments come up with their own agenda as to what they want to do or who they want to rent to and everything else. It's just
Sure.
It's a study of frustrations with that whole thing. Okay, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I'm poor. Okay, and I only got so much money to work with and to do everything, being on SSDI, and of course, I'm on a fixed income, and the fact that I still have to hustle even though I should be having enough in my monthly sensibilities to pay for everything. But that's not true, because we live in Chicago. We live in the most expensive tax city in the United States, so it makes that difficult. And then then you got people. Oh yeah, we got apartments and everything, but unfortunately, the apartments, as nice as they are and beautiful as they are, they're probably in the most unsavory of areas. So,
Yeah, well, you have to move.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
No, Ivan's got to go to Kenosha.
like my friend Brian did. Brian's some guy.
Well, you see what it's like when you go all the way out by Mike's house. It's like, okay, you should be able to get land out there.
Yeah, but I like Mike's house.
We
Mike's
got plenty of land out
man.
here
I love
in my
Mike's
parts.
place.
Man,
Yeah, if you got an apartment in your parts, I'll go. But the only thing I got to consider is that Jules has to get back to Indiana. She's got family there, so anything I do, I have to have something of a.
Well, why don't you look on that side of the border?
Huh?
Yeah, move to
Why don't you
Indiana.
look on that side of the border?
I don't want to go to Indiana.
Aww. Okay. What's wrong with Indiana?
Nothing's wrong with Indiana. I mean, there's a lot of Indiana. There's a lot of Indiana that I could live in, and there's a lot of Indiana I could go.
And none of it is in the northwest corner.
There's plenty of cheap houses under the windmills north of Indianapolis.
Yeah. Yeah, there's those. God. I told you about that. I hadn't done that drive in like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time, like, I'll never forget. Like, it's like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I got past all the traffic going down there. I'm going down to Gen Con. I hadn't been down in Indy in like 10 years. Okay, and the last time I had been down there, they didn't have any of them damn windmills, and I'm like half asleep. And I look,
you see
I don't
these
remember.
towers, you see these red lights.
Right, and I'm like, what the bloody fuck? I mean, I almost ran off the road. I'm like, what the
These
fuck
all
is
can't be
this?
cell phone towers.
I'm like, what is this? Like, well, because I was just like got freaked out because I'm like looking at it and I'm like, what the fuck? What the? This
What
wasn't
happened
here
to
before.
me? What happened?
And then as the day breaks, you see, they're the wind turbines.
Oh no, I saw them. I was just like,
And you
I
saw the
was freaked out
windmills, and then you wondered why your pants were down past
Well,
your
no,
knees,
it's
and
like-
all the secret nearby.
It's like the best way to put it is like, okay, you've done this drive for years. Like in college, I did that drive for years. It's the most boring drive in the world. I expect it to be like there'd be like nothing out of the ordinary because it's like flat land, flat land, flat land. Okay, here's Purdue. Here's more flat land, flat land. Oh wait, we're at Indy now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not expecting like freaking windmills out of nowhere. It's like, what the hell? Where did this come from? You know what it reminded me of? I don't think I ever told you about this. So I'm driving back from a buddy's house in the 90s. In the 90s, I'm driving back from a buddy's house, and I'm driving past what the Air Force Base isn't there anymore, the Glenview Naval Air Force Base. But I'm driving past that on the frontage road, which is at technically Harlem. So I'm driving past that. I'm like driving along. And for some strange reason, I looked to the right of me, and I swear to God, I almost drove off the side of the road. Because sitting there on the ground, well, kind of on the ground, hovering there, like right there for you, is the Goodyear blimp.
Nice.
I mean, like, just like there. It's like, you know, kind of one of those things where it's like, it's 2 a.m, I'm not really awake enough. You're just kind of like, I'm driving down the street, blah, blah, blah. And that's like the last thing you expect to see. Like, to your right, it's like, what the?
It's a blimp.
What the fuck?
It's a zeppelin. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, that, and by the way, we're not talking like far away. We're like talking like close enough where it's like you're getting like a good view of the damn blimp. I'm like, holy shit. And the best part was
a lot more fun than the moose I found with my GPS went astray.
Well, the funny part was so I stopped the car to look at it a second, and then that's when I see like the other people who apparently had stopped along the side of the road, like are taking pictures, night pictures of it, and I'm like, okay, well,
neat.
But yeah, so it was kind of like that when you're driving down to Indy. You know, like it was kind of like that when I drove down to Indy the first time and I saw those damn windmills. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, that was surreal for me too.
Yeah, that was weird. By the way, did you see Gen Con has mandated that you must wear a mask at convention at all times?
Now, has Gen Con done the proof of vaccination yet?
I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah,
all they've talked about is that, so that's, I mean, think about this. That's 60,000, well, in fairness, I think they cut down the number because of COVID, but that's usually, even so, that's probably maybe, 30,000 gamers a day?
That's a lot.
And in fairness, we're talking about Indiana and Indianapolis, and look, COVID numbers down there, they got their own thoughts on that stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how that works and how they're going to enforce that.
And this is indoors, all of it indoors.
Right, exactly. Well, like I said, I'm curious to see what their plan is on how they're going to enforce this.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, like for example, how do you plan on enforcing it when there's nobody around? Like if there's nobody around, or you know, here's the thing: a lot of the people who work for the Gen Con are not like cops or anything.
No, they're volunteers.
They're just volunteers who are getting a free room. You think any one of those people is going to walk up to somebody and be like, hey, excuse me, you need to, and especially in this day and age with everything that's going on, I'm waiting for one of these people to turn around and be like, and slug somebody and be like, you know, that kind of situation.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, it's a thing that's happening now, you know, in Chicago where, you know, a good many businesses now, you know, bars, arcades.
Well, forget Ivan, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I mean, but I know the convention is crazier, but the reality of, we're back to doing masks again is not a crazy thing. It's become a real thing again.
No, but you're missing the point, man. I mean, you really are. Because you're talking about some of these people. I mean, think about this. Think about, like, the cosplayers. Okay? Think about what they've got on themselves sometimes. Like, some of them have got, like, swords. Like, real swords.
Right.
And shit like
or
that.
They've got 40, 50 pounds of whatever their costume is.
Yeah, or you know, they got weaponry and shit like that. I mean, people carry this shit around at Gen Con because they do this kind of stuff. It's like,
even if they're like plastic or foam, it still weighs a lot.
Forget plastic or foam. There's the real deal down there.
Didn't they
some
put a
people carry the real
that's
shit.
Right. San Diego put a ban on
San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego did. Not Indy.
Yeah,
not Indy.
So here's, but I do got the point. You got all of these people that are going to be all hunched up together, all 30,000, including cosplayers, volunteers, everybody that's going to be involved in it now to sit there and try to make a mandated situation of the masking. Okay, given the geography and given what's happening there, that's going to be a real hard sell.
Well, and especially in that state. I mean, again, we're talking about.
We'll have to watch and see how it handles.
Right, again, it's not.
Let's just hope it doesn't become yet another breakout situation again.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because look at what we saw from Lollapalooza, which is
Lollapalooza, yeah.
I mean, it looked horrible, but the numbers didn't come back horrible.
But then, of course,
it did become a super spreader event.
Yeah.
Well, considering the fact that I would like to say as a dice throw on my 20-sided die that I would say the numbers would state that a good many of the people that went to Lollapalooza, were vaccinated. One can always hope against the many that weren't vaccinated that ended up going anyway and decided they were going to take their chances about this whole thing. And
I don't know if that's an interesting question, because I was told that if they were talking to people who literally were like, you don't have a vaccination card, you can't prove it, you're not getting in.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just the point, and that's what they're doing in the clubs, and that's what they're doing everywhere.
But the thing is now is that there's a black market for fake vaccination cards.
That's crazy.
Well, and the thing about it is, you have to have 2 signatures to make sure you have both vaccinations, and then they're going to give you the thermometer right as you walk in the door. They're going to they're going to put you in a secluded area where you're a considerable distance from everybody else. I mean, I was sitting there doing my last Kohl's broadcast, to Twitch, and the whole world saying, yeah, I'm wearing a mask while I'm in a bar, and everybody from Lollapalooza, just kind of coming up saying, hey, and like.
I love how you call it Lollapalooza.
Why do I call it Lollapalooza?
Is that intentional?
Oh, I know it's intentional. I just find it amusing that's.
Do you hate it so much?
Why? Okay, Lollapalooza, to me,
let the hate
hasn't been good.
You.
Yeah.
Hasn't been good for decades, and the fact that they're still trying to beat the dead horse about trying to get all of these people to come to Lollapalooza, and instead of why are you getting 30 to 40 different acts over a period of 3 days when you can get several really big headliners?
Well, they did get Foo Fighters. I mean, they can't get much bigger than that. Especially.
I mean, isn't it a good opportunity for bands who aren't those bands then to be seen too?
Well, yes, in some respects, but then see if you're going to go ahead and feature smaller bands or unsigned bands or people's trying to get a break and everything like that. Okay, I think it would be best set to do it as a one-off event on one whole day, and of course have the feature thing like maybe on the last day, like on a Sunday, where you could feature like all of these bands, and then the next day you feature all of these bands.
That. Hold on a second, Ivan. That's not how it works.
Oh, I know that's not how it works.
I mean, it's like when I go to
I'm just giving you my slant on how I
know,
would
but
do it
look,
if I did.
Look. Like it'd be like back in the day when I went to go see wrestling. At the end of the day, yeah, I want to see all these guys, but I came to see the main event.
Well,
the reason why I'm, it's nice that I'm seeing all these other matches or I'm seeing all these other bands. But at the end of the day, I came to see the headline band, but I happen to get a chance to see some of these others, and maybe now I become a fan, and that's the truth.
How you get exposure.
No, but you're right. Well, that's how you get exposure. Okay, and you're right. I guess, also too, having spoken with the people of Lollapalooza, which, not having to, go into any personal sensibilities, but yeah, they could get, they could be more outreaching to that sensibility of trying to make it a more encompassing experience, but for their audiences, for their situation, for how they go about it and everything. And yeah, and I guess for myself, I haven't felt the pull of wanting to go to Lollapalooza in years, and then I get word back from people who have gone to Lollapalooza, and they're happy, but then of course after they get through the happy moments, then they just go on the bitch fest of it's to this, it's to that, it's for this.
Well, but at the end of the day, they went.
Yeah, but you know,
that's look.
Well, yeah. So a lot of them went. Some of them, you know, I got stories where they just, man, it was too hot. I need to walk away. I felt weird. I felt weird because all these people and the vaccination, and I wasn't comfortable.
Wow.
You know, and just the usual thing. Now, as far as the music is concerned, okay, and to be quite fair, you know, I mean, a lot of the music that they're getting for, you know, Lousy Palooza now is, oh, you want me to get out of the way? Okay. You know, Lousy Palooza
out of the way
now.
Get out of the way.
And, you
Get
know,
off my lawn.
I mean, I guess maybe I would just rather see them in more of a local club setting or maybe a smaller arena, something a little more isolated, so that way they could get more of the vibe that they come to create and everything. Because let's face it, you know, like you said, Jeff, you know, you come for the main event and everything. Yeah, you get to see some of the bands. You get people that they don't even bother with all those bands, and then they just watch the main event, and then they just say the hell with it and be done with it. And then you get those people, but then you got many people that really do like to watch and support the smaller bands and everything. But you know,
I think honestly, I don't know. I mean, look. Obviously, there's a reason why it gets done, and people who want to go, they'll go. If people want to pay, they'll pay. And
right. Well, of course,
and
they want to go. Yeah, but you know, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you make an event.
I mean, it's no different. Look, it's no different than Taste of Chicago back in the day, where, you know, Taste of Chicago was the same thing. Where, you know, the reason I stopped going to the Taste downtown was I figured it out after a while. It was, okay, first of all, my first reaction was, for the amount of money that I'm paying on tickets, by the time I get down there, get parking, pay for the amount I'm paying on tickets, and then to have bathrooms that are a pain in the ass. My reaction was, I'd rather take that money and put it towards going to a really nice place to get a bite to eat. And I'd rather do that than go down it. Now, now, in fairness, in my 20s, when I knew there were girls there and it was a good time, and that was my thought process, then my thought process was different. Again, look, there's some people who love doing it and go that, and the people who sit there and go, oh, it's really kind of hot. Dude, it's Chicago in August.
Well, yeah. I know.
It's Chicago in August. If you don't know what Chicago in August is like.
No, that's true. No, that's true. And you're right, Jeff. You're right.
Now, in fairness, if you want to sit there and complain that there aren't enough cooling stations, if you want to sit there and say that the price of what the drink, well, but here's the thing, you know what the price of the drinks are when you walk in the door.
Oh, well, you know when you go to any event, you go to any event, they're gonna, if they don't gouge you in the parking, they're gonna gouge you in the drink. And they don't gouge you in the drink, they're gonna gouge you in the merch. If they don't gouge you in the merch, they gouge the fuck out of you, just like they do, like when you go to the theater. Yeah, $10 my ass when you get done inside the theater and everything, you know, and this is for one person, you know, you've spent a good $35 already for one person at the theater, okay? All right? So you can just imagine when you get these live events and everything, and of course how many hands, you know, are stretched out for all that money, from the text to the cleanup to the this and to the that and to the everything. And, you know, it does, you know, the prices for these things get pretty heady. But then, of course, you know, again, I guess it's because of it's an event, that's why they can get away with these things, you know. But, yeah, but you're right about the whole Taste of Chicago thing, though. I stopped going was because I thought to myself, by the time I pay for all these tickets, I could probably have a dinner for 3 with this type of money that I'm pouring into.
And that's where I kind of made a decision a while back. But that again, look, the people who go to Lollapalooza, they like going, and you know, I'm not saying let it go.
No,
well, you're calling it Lousy Palooza. It's like, For them, it's not lousy. I mean, so
Well,
far,
to them it's not lousy, but for me personally, it's lousy palooza. I went once, I wasn't turned on by it, and then every other year, I hear stories and everything like that. And every time I thought of going to lousy palooza, I get people coming back after a day or so. And they're like, "Oh man, you just don't even bother."
But yet they paid for tickets.
Yeah, they pay for tickets,
but yet they paid for tickets.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I'm just telling you what they tell me, man.
I understand, but the point is at the end of the day, they still paid for the ticket to go.
But I guess
it's horrible. Be glad you didn't go.
They still wanted to experience it. They still wanted to say, "I went, and maybe I'll have a good time. I'll see some music. I'll hang out with friends."
Yep.
All right, and that's the grand march.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a convention in Wisconsin over the weekend, and I was tempted to go up there. I just was like, I don't know. But to get back to something we were way in the other direction, as long as we're talking about food, a perfect example is,
food is always good.
So Sunday, I went, I can never remember how to say it. Is it Fogo de Cow or Fogo de Chow?
Fogo de Chow.
Is it chow? I heard cow. I hear some people.
No. Fogo de Chow.
Okay. Anyway, so.
Which I love Fogo de Chow. That I love.
Apparently they do a brunch. So we went on Saturday. And
all
I can tell you is there's your example of them we were talking earlier about people just walking up and bringing you food. That Brazilian steakhouse.
That is the epitome of people walking up and bringing you food. They got 17 ovens on. 17. I went on the tour. 17
did they really?
ovens. Yes. They have
How many? Sorry, Ivan. How many ovens?
17.
Okay.
They have 17 cooking.
Wait a minute. 17?
17.
Not 18.
It's 17.
Not 16.
You know what? Shit. Okay, so 17 grilling areas and places to cook all this food. That's why the food is always so succulent. And you know what?
That many ovens, get one right at least.
They burned the other 16. At least they got one. They got one oven.
Man, I gotta tell you, the only thing missing at that place.
What's that?
I'm surprised.
Another oven.
Besides Go-Go Girls.
Well, that's a different conversation. The only thing that's missing from that place is a big screen TV. And the only reason I say that is I'm telling you, you could make a fortune on football Sundays. You can make a fortune with that place.
But see, the thing is, the price point for the food against the time that you're going to screen things on television, you'll get done with the food, and then, you got the person sitting there.
No, the guys who are constantly walking around all day. I mean, you think, okay.
Oh, okay. I see. I see
literally sit there for like 3. I mean, okay, you're paying for this. It's for 3 hours, and hey, we're going to walk around with all this freaking meat. We're all over the place. It's like, man,
God.
It doesn't get better than that.
Are you kidding? I mean, Fogo de Chao. I mean, sheesh. I got lucky. I got lucky 1 year to go to Fogo de Chao because I was a volunteer for Mather Lifeways, and that was my gift for being a volunteer. Was they volunteers to Fogo de Chao. My little card, the one that's got the red and green, the red on one side and the green on the other side. Never saw the red side. Okay, I tried everything. And let me tell you. And then of course the buffet they had there of all the exotic fruits and vegetables.
Well, on Saturday, on the weekends.
Yes.
So on the weekends they add some stuff. Like they have they have like waffles, and they have like they do like the make your own omelet kind
waffles.
Of thing. They do like they cook to order omelets, and they do a couple of things like that.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know if I'm going to do that again anytime soon, but it was
Well,
It was worthwhile.
maybe all of us, all three of us, for like a holiday thing, maybe we need to all get together and splurge and go ahead and take ourselves out for a Christmas meal. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Sounds like Ivan's buying.
Yeah, it sounds like Ivan's buying because it cost me like about. I think my sit down was about 42, just so you know. So it's like, and that's
okay, so 42. All right, yeah. I mean, that's
without tax or anything.
Oh, yeah, what I'm saying, but like I said, I think that'd be kind of neat. We save our little nickels and dimes and go check out Fogo de Chao. I think everybody needs to check out Fogo de Chao at least once.
Yeah, but how many ovens do they have?
That's awesome, Ivan. That's awesome, Mike. You nailed it. It's funny because I went to the one out in Rosemont. I didn't go to the one downtown because they have another one out in Rosemont.
That's the one I went to.
Nah.
Yeah, that's the one I went to.
They might have had 18 ovens though.
Oh my!
So you want to get into news this week?
No, we got other stuff to talk about too. I mean, it was funny because I've been kind of hijacked. I actually had a couple other things. So I
go ahead.
So I actually
I always hijack you though. That's part of the fun.
Yeah, I know. But so I actually finally got around to watching. I finally cracked into Doom Patrol. Finally, Mike.
All right.
Doom Patrol.
Season
okay.
1. I'm in season 1. I got through about the first 4 or 5 episodes. Boy, I'll tell you, it's already better than both seasons of Titans. It really
better
is.
than both seasons of Titans.
Already, it's already better.
That's a big claim.
And well, the cast is pretty incredible too. It's Timothy Dalton is playing the Chief, and then Brendan Fraser's playing Robot Man, and then Matt Bomer is doing the Negative Man thing. So I mean that's
those three cats right there, man. There's a triad. I mean, wow.
And the big bad for this first season is being played by Alan Tudyk.
Wow.
Tudyk,
he's
awesome. There you go.
And by the way, he's great at it. He's hysterical.
He's great. And they're pretty sure everything he does.
Well, no, I mean they really let him with the character that he's got.
They let him cut loose.
Yeah, and the character freaking breaks the fourth wall quite a lot because it's like where it's like he'll be talking about something and it's like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to all the little Grant Morrison fan and the Reddit fans and all the people who brought the subscription who are listening to me right now who are sitting there freaking out because I'm talking to them. And I was like, this is great. And I'm like dying. I'm like, that is amazing. Yeah. He really owns I mean, it's funny.
He owns it.
Well, I mean, like, it was funny because they kind of went into this mini thing for a couple episodes where they went to another storyline. And he's like, I wasn't even, he's like, I'm annoyed. I wasn't even in the last 2 episodes. I mean, he literally says that. I'm like, it's like,
brings out a character and just that pans the camera.
No, it's part of his character because he's playing this character called Mr. Nobody, who's like,
so he's like a DC equivalent to Deadpool, kind of.
No, I wouldn't even call it. No, far more. So my only criticisms of Doom Patrol is, and they're only because I know it from the comics. So they stick a lot to the Grant Morrison stuff that got done. I can't remember if it was the early 2000s or the late 90s when Morrison did his run on Doom Patrol. But it don't get me wrong, it's supposedly a solid run, and I've never gotten around to it, but people love that run. But to me, I became aware of the Doom Patrol in the 80s, ironically, through Titans. And so to me, it's always interesting to me because there's no connection for me with Rita Farr, who in the comics is Gar Logan, aka Beast Boy. That's his mom or his adopted mom. And that's not even a thing in this particular version of what they're doing. And that's okay. But it is kind of surprising how they've portrayed Rita so far. Maybe it'll get stronger, maybe it'll get better, it'll be different. But again, overall, it's really solid. I've enjoyed it. The first season is 15 episodes, and I'm only through about 4 or 5. But
didn't they just drop? What season are they on now?
They're on season 2, but there are supposedly there's a season 3 that's coming.
Okay.
So there is a season 3 on the way. The other thing I started watching I was watching on Amazon. So I think I mentioned before I'd watched Modern Love on Amazon in season 1, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's so there's a column in the New York Times called Modern Love about different things about love and with different types of stories, and they based it on that. And it's every story is kind of standalone, but they're really well done and they were really well crafted. And season 1 was really interesting to watch. So season 2 is out. I've watched the first couple episodes of season 2, and they've been interesting. It's only 8 episodes. The episodes are really only about 36 minutes long. So, like I said, Modern Love to me Modern Love season 2 is probably something to check out too. So
yeah, I have access to an Amazon account. I wanted to see that documentary about Val Kilmer.
I haven't gotten around to that either.
Yeah,
but,
I do want to watch that.
But yeah, so those were the 2 things I wanted to mention that I picked up.
Cool.
Other than it sounds, I don't know. Did you get to? You didn't get to anything Titans, right?
No, I'm watching Titans this week.
Okay, so I will say this. My biggest headache with Titans is, I will say this, it's interesting. I understand why they decided to go the route that they went. They certainly deviate from a lot of stuff that goes on with things that you would think would be going on in Gotham. But there's one part that I'm not enjoying.
Yeah, Dick Grayson's been at this a lot longer, and Jason Todd isn't known for his brilliance.
Right. Well, and I get that this, now it's Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and they're trying to make him out to be they're bad. And I'm not positive that there isn't some other big bad beyond Jason Todd that has something to do with it. But the point being is I'm watching it and I'm like, they're really portraying Dick Grayson as kind of either it's Dick's in disbelief, which I don't catch, or they're playing Dick Grayson like he's dumb, and Dick Grayson ain't that dumb.
No.
And I think that's the problem I'm running into. I don't want to spoil anything because there's definitely a cliffhanger for the third episode.
We'll
that I don't want to get
next
into
week. We'll go spoilerific on episodes 1 through 4.
Right, but again, that's why I figured I'd at least say this. This season so far much better. But my biggest complaint is, like I said, there's a part of me where I'm like, they're going awfully big. I mean, I understand that Jason's the bad guy, and I get it, but it's like, I don't know. The only other thing I'll say, because as you're aware, yeah, they do a really good job in the beginning when they do the whole Joker Jason thing with that, and it's definitely a moment where you sit there and you go, wow, they really went there, huh? But yeah, so yeah, that's the only thing I can say about Titans, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm curious. So Ivan, your thought on Suicide Squad?
Okay.
Step up to the microphone, please.
Yeah, step up to the microphone and away from the air conditioner.
Okay.
God.
Okay, here I am.
Hey, welcome back.
All right.
Yeah, welcome back. Were you gone somewhere?
Well, yeah, I was in the middle of thought process.
Okay.
God.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, as far as my take on the Suicide Squad, okay, because I went to see it with Soraya, and
did you go to the theater?
Yes, I did.
How many people were in the theater with you?
There was 15.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, but we went early in the day, so it was kind of like early for just for a lot of people. But all I say is, yeah, I saw it. Okay, and for one who has seen this as a standalone motion picture, okay, I would have to say that the story in of itself, okay, it worked for me. I bet the fact that I'm missing a lot of pieces from it from other movies. Okay, the action was a little more gratuitous than I would have liked. Because watching some person watch their head get cut in halves and everything and see it on the screen, it's kind of like, yeah, lots of violence, lots of bloodshed and knives going in. That's it. It doesn't lack on the action part of it. I bet some of it was a little on the gory side and everything. And but then there were areas of the movie that I thought, well, I would have liked to have seen it go from this to that instead of this, and that. So I guess 2 hours for me seemed a bit long for me to sit through the movie, and there was a lot of elements for me that they could have done away with altogether just to make the action a little bit more seamless, a little more cohesive. But the story, for what I got to understand of it, was a good story, and like I said, it was, I would have to be to give it a fair. I would say 3.5 yams. That's where I'm at.
Okay, because I was down to 3, and I think Jeff was also 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
it's a well crafted thing, and James Gunn knows how to make movies.
Yep.
But there's certain things that just
there were just certain things that just didn't. I like I said, and I'm talking to you from a person who knows this a lot less than you guys do. Okay.
Yeah, well, the movie does a good job of fleshing out these characters. The only recurring character is Amanda Waller and Harley.
There were 3. There were 3.
Oh, there were 3. Oh, yeah, and Flag.
There were 3.
Yeah.
No, Boomerang. Boomerang was in
Captain
the previous.
Boomerang. Yeah.
Those 3 were in the previous movie. Were in the previous Suicide
Waller
Squad
wasn't
movie.
in the first one?
Oh, Waller was.
Yeah, so that's 4.
Waller. I'm sorry. Then there's 4. Then it's Waller, Harley, Boomerang, and Flag.
No,
those 4 had been in the previous Suicide Squad edition.
Right, which I can't help but think that maybe this movie should have been more into number 1 instead of into number 2, because number 1 was just kind of not as appealing.
Did you see the original?
I haven't seen it fully. No,
okay.
But from what I have read and from what I have heard from people,
so I'm the only one who's seen both movies.
I haven't seen the whole thing either. I can't sit through the whole thing. The first one.
Oh, I can. I am okay with sitting through that movie.
Well, okay, and like I said, a lot of commentary going around. Oh yeah, there was things in the the second Suicide Squad that should have been in the first Suicide Squad. A lot of people are saying, that Harley, with Harley and everything like that. The fact that knowing Harley's history, and the fact that they seem to be teetering, between, she used to be the girlfriend of Joker and she was kind of crazed and I kind of out there, but yet she's on this, in these movies, she's on this most heroic tip, almost, it's almost like she's the anti-hero in this.
Well, that's where she's been positioned now by DC.
Right.
And that's the comics too. The comics too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like what used to happen with Catwoman, just kind of that whole.
No, it's honestly, Ivan, it's bigger at this point than Catwoman because seriously, at this point in the comics, Harley isn't even his sidekick anymore. In the comics, it's somebody. It's somebody they introduced named Punchline, and I don't remember all the details, but That was a big thing. Ironically, it happened right when COVID hit was the problem. But,
was a matter of timing.
they introduced a new sidekick for the Joker named Punchline. And so no, they've been.
Also, that's what Ronald McDonald's been doing.
Yeah, that's what
he is now Punchline.
Yeah, well, yeah. Ronald McDonald and the Joker teamed up to go up against Batman and Robin. There you go.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
I'm sure for McDonald's it wouldn't be very good.
Yeah, but McDonald's has pretty much walked away from Ronald McDonald. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't at that moment. I'm sure they'd be back going, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing with our guy?"
You think they would go after them for copyright?
Oh, I know they go after them for copyright. You kidding? Yeah, I mean, my biggest headache with this, again, the Suicide Squad at the end was and again, in the first one, same problem. I'm looking at the skill set and the power levels of who's left and who's around to fight this high level battle with and I'm not omnipotent being, and I'm like, no, I don't buy this. I'm not buying this at all. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, no, this isn't. And the ending that they do, just the way that they do it, I'm just like, especially with, and the best part is, and this is the part that's frustrating as all heck, is see, neither one of you have seen the original, or have seen the first movie. Literally, the ending, again, the second movie in a row where Harley hits the killing blow on this big, on this uber big bad guy, where it's like, this should not be something where that happens at all.
Well, we both figured it out. How early in the film did you figure out, Ivan, that the javelin that Harley was carrying was going to go into Starla's eye?
About halfway through.
Yeah, a little bit later for me.
Soon as she got hold of the javelin.
Right, when she escaped. Right, when she grabs the javelin and then works her way through that building and takes out all those enemy soldiers.
Right.
That's she's going to be carrying that the whole movie. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. As soon as she picked it up, started running through the course, the explosions and everything happening around there. Up for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then almost it did.
Well, but I'm saying it did set it up, but you didn't think, when is she going to go ahead and throw this javelin and everything like that? As soon as she picked it up, I'm thinking, that javelin's going somewhere.
No, I had a pretty good guess after a while. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I know where this is headed now.
So, but there's still, right now, there's no plans for a third one, right?
I don't know.
Because John Cena gets his series.
Yeah, the Peacemaker thing that's coming on HBO Max.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so there's that. And then, we'll see. Like I said, the only other thing I would mention is, so I did see the first episode of Stargirl. A little slow. Of season 2, but they do, in fairness, we get a Green Lantern-like character, and it is a character from the comics, so I'm kind of thrilled. I've always liked that character. We'll see where this is going. But the first episode was the first half was a little slow.
Let me maybe teaser, maybe tiny spoiler. I'm asking a question. Mm-hmm. Did Beth fix Chuck? Captain Midnight?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
No. That's still an issue.
All right.
So that's still a little bit of an issue, and you like I said, so it's interesting to see where they're going to go with this. The entire premise is basically her as I guess it's summertime and she's going to get stuck in summer school. So
because the season 1 finale takes place on Christmas.
Yeah, so there are a few months. There have been a few months that have passed by that point. Okay. So. And apparently everything's been all quiet, so I can at least tell you that. So.
Time has elapsed in peace.
Yeah, so.
Right.
Trying to think of anything else. Well, obviously we can get to What If you want.
Yeah, What If was okay for me. It took me a while to get used to the animation style. Maybe that's it. And the pacing seemed a little fast. I mean,
I loved it.
It was okay. Well, that's great. I didn't adore it, but it's fine, and I'll watch more of it.
That's really surprising because usually this is reverse news.
Right.
Usually
you're the skeptic on Marvel, and I'm the fanboy for Marvel.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it's not usually that I'm a fanboy. I'm usually I'll nitpick stuff, but honestly, the pace was great. The pace was great. I love the animation. I love the level of effort that they put into this and what they've done. I mean, seriously, if Stan Lee is watching from above, he's got to be absolutely thrilled with what this product looks like. And
he's probably yelling Excelsior through the heavens, I'm sure.
Well, and it's funny because one of the things I said to some people was, like back in the 80s when they did cartoons, they usually would start with, "This is Stan Lee," and boy, do we have a story for you today. I mean, I feel like that's the only thing that was missing from that entire show.
The Watcher kind of gives you that intro and outro, that narration.
I know. That's what somebody else said to me, too, and I'm like, that's not the same. And I get it. It's just, it's the Watcher, and that's what he does. Yeah, it's
It's different.
I liked it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes. I wasn't blown away by it.
If anything, my biggest complaint is I would like to have known what things looked like when certain things looked like when she came out 70 years later.
Right.
And I think that's the part
using the portal from the Tesseract works better than just being frozen for 70 years.
No, I mean, obviously I think that's where they had to go at that point. I don't know. And apparently the monster that's in there, they're claiming that monster might be the monster that's going to be in the new Doctor Strange movie as well. So we'll see. I mean, the part that's interesting to me is, and this is the part that I feel like they dropped the ball on, is I get it that it's technically not that story, but there's a part of me where I'm like, okay, so now it's 70 years later. What happened to the fact that it's like, okay, apparently Iron Man technology was created 70 years earlier than originally?
Yeah, Howard Stark has rockets in 1942 or 43 or whatever.
Right. I mean, you've created that, and what happens to Steve Rogers, who's in the Hydra Stomper for the next 70. It would have been nice to see that what goes on with that, or to see, because honestly, look, we're talking about Iron Man happened, and technically in Marvel terms, it had been like a 10-year period, and he had built all that up. Now imagine what that would have looked like if you started like 60 years earlier.
Right.
It's like, where could they have possibly have been with Iron Man or Iron Man like armor, if that's the case? And I think that's the part where I was like, man, I can't believe we're not going to see what they've done with that since. But in fairness, that wasn't
Peggy's story, so they had to
exactly. And
this was a way that Skinny Steve could still interact and be part of the team, along with the Howling Commandos. It was cool to see the Howling Commandos and Sebastian Stan as the voice of Bucky Barnes again.
I'll tell you, there was a part of me where I thought for a minute we might get something, and I'm like, no, they're not going to do it because they're going to stick to MCU history, and they're not going to pull something out of nowhere, which is, I really thought maybe they might give us, technically in Marvel continuity in the 40s, there was a hero group, and it was the Invaders, and the Invaders was made up of Captain America. I can't remember who. I know there was a Human Torch, the original Human Torch, and then there was the Submariner, and I can't remember who else was in it. But I thought maybe we might get an Invaders type group in that time frame, which would have been cool. But it became very clear that wasn't going to happen, and that's I understand, but it's one of those where it was like I was kind of like, oh, that would have been kind of cool and that would have been kind of exciting to have happen, but I get why they didn't do it. It's still, it would have been a nice kind of nod to like your stories that were supposedly from the 40s.
It would have distracted. Well, maybe, who knows? Maybe there'll be a continuation of this in season 2, if there is a season 2.
Maybe
they'll continue Peggy's story going forward.
I'm not positive that they don't. I would not be positive that we don't see a live action version of this at some point with some of the stuff that they're talking about with this whole multiverse thing.
Yeah, it's got to get some roids into Haley Atwell, and we're good.
Well, I don't know. You have to. I mean, you can make that work. I mean, I think it's possible.
Have him suplex the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again,
we'll get into that later.
Right, but I mean, I think it can be done. I mean, just like like somebody else said, and I think it's interesting because they called her Captain Carter rather than Captain Britain, and my guess is the reason they didn't want.
I didn't notice that.
Well, and as I said to somebody else, a matter of fact, I know what it was. I was talking to John Suntress about this from the World Balloon podcast, and I said to John, I think the reason they did it. Because some people were like, well, maybe because it was a man thing and they didn't want to give her that kind of title. I don't think that's that. I think that they have plans now that they have their hands on some of the X-Men characters, that they have plans
to put out a Captain Britain.
Well, there is a Captain Britain character that has a long history of being Captain Britain in the Marvel Universe. And by the way, that's Psylocke's brother. So, that's, and Psylocke's always been a popular character in X-Men books. So it seems like that could be a no-brainer where you could build a lot around that character or go a direction. So I can't blame them for not wanting to go there and confuse an MCU audience if later on you decide to create a Captain Britain.
Right. Where I saw the what if, and the casuals be all like, no, Captain Britain should be Carter.
And should be a chick. And exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't think they were going to go that route. But yeah, like I said, I thought What If was 5-star. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it. I believe this next episode is the episode that Chadwick Boseman did.
Which is going to be his final performance.
Yeah, that I'm aware of. I don't think there's anything else left. Yeah, but yeah. I believe this is the one where it's if T'Challa became Star-Lord. So this should be interesting. Yeah. I'm curious to see where this is going to go. Yeah. I thought the most interesting thing to me, Mike, is in one of the preview trailers, we saw Spider-Man in it, which I was surprised by. So we'll see if at some point we get Spider-Man in one of these things, but my guess is we'll get it in the one. I think there's one supposedly that's like a zombie.
Yeah, and I'd say a lot of people are making a big deal about who's voicing who and who isn't voicing who, because they didn't get Kangbadi Bongerdonk as Doctor Strange back, and they didn't get Brie Larson back as Captain Marvel. And of course, I don't think that was Chris Evans as Skinny Steve, was it?
I don't know. It might
have to check the voice cast again.
I have to check, but I thought Bradley Whitford was amazing as that general.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
He was great, and he was funny too, and it was really well done. Mm-hmm. He's such a talented actor, and I thought he was great. So anytime I get a chance to see him from the West Wing is always a good thing.
Yeah, I'll certainly take this over nothing. So yeah, What If is on Disney Plus. I'm digging it.
Well, like I said, it's to me this is a good time right now because, and so I guess we'll go into this. One of the pieces of news of note is, here's a question, which is as of now, Shang-Chi is only going to be in theaters on September 3rd.
One day?
Well, no, I mean as in that on September 3rd it's opening in theaters only.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Right.
It will not be available
on Disney Plus yet. Not immediately. Not at the same time it comes out in theaters.
Right, exactly. Okay. So
maybe they're just going to wait they're going to have their finger on that button, see how good that weekend box office is, and if it's too low, then they're going to They're going to smash that button, put it on Disney Plus.
I don't know. I think, to me, the thing that's interesting is at this point, they're playing games with stuff that I'm not sure they should play games with, but to me, it's like, okay, we're in a situation with everything going on where nobody's sure exactly what's going on, and I think there's people who are like, screw it, we're going to push forward, and it's interesting to me what stuff they're willing to push forward, which stuff they're not. Like I guess Free Guy. I didn't realize Free Guy was a Disney movie as well, and I guess it technically overshot expectations this weekend.
It exceeded expectations, yeah.
Supposedly,
Oh, okay.
and in fairness, it didn't have a lot of expectations, and it might have been different if it had been, we weren't in a post-COVID world. I don't know. I'm curious to see what this is gonna.
Yeah, I would like to see it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it from the get-go, but I don't know that I'm willing to put myself in a movie theater yet. I'm just not there yet on
fair
that
enough,
idea.
yeah.
And maybe if I could figure out how to make that work, but I think it'll be interesting to see how many people are willing to put themselves to go to a theater to go watch a Marvel movie when in reality, I don't know. Again, to me, it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. I don't know.
Yeah, Shang-Chi is, it's teetering right now with the Delta thing, so I don't know. We'll have to see. The Aretha Franklin movie came out last week.
Yeah,
and
I don't know how.
Unfortunately, it finished 4th in the box office, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and again, there's another example of where, okay, we're just releasing it here. Okay. I just, and I get it. Again, this goes back to the conversation we've had a couple of times now about that there are some people who, look, the industry is such where, they're gonna try to push this through no matter what, because movies, and it's like,
yeah.
Now in fairness, Venom got delayed again.
Yep.
Well, Venom got delayed, and it got moved from September 24th to October 15th because they're nervous.
Yep.
And they don't know what the numbers are going to look like, and they're nervous about it. And you know what? I can't blame them at all.
No.
We know. Someone will eat your head if you go early.
Yeah, well, and I mean, again, that's, and I don't know. Like I said,
this uncertainty in the movie genre still. This
part
format.
of it is
This format is it's been a year and a half now, and people are still wary about sitting in a public theater.
Well, right. Well, in fairness, if up until a couple weeks ago, this wasn't an issue.
No.
Everything seemed like everything was going back to normal, and all of a sudden there was this gigantic Delta variant surge, and now it's, hey, people are like, well, I don't think this is so smart all of a sudden. And some people's reaction is, some people's reaction is yes, some people's reaction is no.
Well, it comes down to the whole thing where, okay, yes, much as we would like to push our way through this situation, it seems like
you okay, Ivan?
I'm here, and just as we get there, 2 steps forward, we end up getting 3 steps back, and it's just, this is just not something, that,
Did you smoke a little? Did you hit a bong?
No, I'm just sitting here talking.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, good.
I'm dry.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, the movie theater thing is still, a little bit uncertain.
No, it's a little dodgy because of the fact that right now, you got, a lot of people that are vaccinated who are just getting a little upset at all those who are not being vaccinated, and therefore things can't get forward. And as much as it's in a perfect world, that would be the thing to do. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, so it just comes right down to one's own conscience as to how they want to, go about this whole thing. And as far as like movies and concerts and get-togethers, we've seen the results of massive get-togethers with varied results. with that whole thing. So I don't know. And then, like I said, that's why when I was going to do an event, that's why I said, oh, maybe next year in September instead of this year in September, because it's the practicality of it is just not there. There's just so much more that has to be done before we can ever really get back to those type of numbers in the theater. I mean, they've tried it. People have tried to do the large events. I mean, like Lollapalooza, okay, and everything else. But it's just
well, here's the thing that's interesting to me.
It's just hard. It's just hard.
Here's the thing that's interesting to me. Lollapalooza. Everybody was watching Lollapalooza, and everybody was looking at the pictures of Lollapalooza. Because I hate to say it, Lollapalooza. Everybody knows all about Lollapalooza. Let me tell you an event. Let me give you an example, an event that kind of slips under the radar that nobody's going to be talking about, and you won't hear anything about it, and you won't hear anything about contact tracing or any of those numbers or anything along those lines. I go back to Gen Con. Gen Con's a huge event. Well, it's in Indiana, and Gen Con is going to go under the radar unless there are pictures that go viral of what that thing looks like and people walking around. But my guess is there isn't going to be like that one picture that went out because they don't have it like that where there's everybody watching one band all at once where, it looks like a mass of humanity and crowd surrounding a stage. That's not what Gen Con looks like. And so you're not going to get those pictures. And so, but Gen Con's a perfect example where something like that is a big possibility of being able to be a super spreader kind of event. But we're not going to hear about it versus Lala because I hate
maybe
to say it.
Maybe in local news
local news will probably cover it.
Yeah,
but I don't
local
think
news in Indiana, they're not going to cover that shit.
Well, but also too, it also depends on what the media is going to concentrate on at the time. And God forbid, the Indiana convention, ends up becoming that super spreader event, and it ends up being, where a lot of COVID cases start spiking and all of this other stuff like that. That's going to be a hard thing to keep out of the media.
I don't know. I think it depends. I mean, again, it's still not as much as gaming and geek culture is mainstream. There are still certain things that they don't watch or they don't cover. Like if this was San Diego.
Oh, this was San Diego Comic-Con. They'd be all over it.
Right, they'd be all over it. But
if this was Comic-Con, they would be all over it.
They'd be all over it, watching everything like a hawk. But
right, like Anime-Con, same thing.
Not anime, because anime they won't as much. But yeah, I mean, to me, I think the part where it's gaming, it's in the middle of the Midwest. Yeah, I don't expect it to get the kind of.
Unless, like I said, the only way it's going to make a noise is if they start reporting numbers of cases rising out of that whole thing. It's probably the only way, maybe it might be the only thing that'll prompt everybody to start saying, hey, maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Well, again, it assumes they're checking that. Checking it who's not, because I hate to say it, there's a part of me where, is the state of Indiana going to be paying attention to this? Because quite frankly, I don't think they will. And unless Gen Con's going to pay attention to it on their own,
well, okay, but do you think that they got the resources to do that?
No,
I don't know. They would have the resources if there were certain things that.
There's the nut in the shell, and so that's so that's pretty much a free for all for that one. And of course, I'm hoping it doesn't end badly because I don't want to have any. I don't have.
Right. I mean, again, movies. But the point being is going back to it. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because Disney was out there and pounded about how these movies we're gonna have them out there and we're not gonna have them on Disney, the ability for Disney Plus, and I'm like,
why would you shoot yourself in the foot for that though? Because they think they're shooting because they're, and the only thing I can come up with is that means that all of this entertainment media is right, which is that they need the box office numbers more than they want the Disney Plus numbers. So I don't know. Well, I think it also could be. I could maybe say that the box office numbers will pay for the streaming numbers. Because streaming numbers all in of itself against I don't know what. I know that the streaming numbers are making more now, and then of course in the recent wake.
I think the interesting. By the way, I think the interesting thing, and here's this. This is what's interesting, Mike. Have you seen any streaming numbers on Suicide Squad?
No, I don't think HBO has put out their numbers yet.
Nope, they have not talked about those numbers, and it's interesting. It's interesting because certainly everybody's hammering them, and unlike Disney, when right away they went and made sure that they put out certain numbers so that they try to make it look good for Black Widow, we have not seen Warner Brothers do the same, and I'm kind of convinced, like you are, Mike. I have this feeling like they got quite a bit of people watching that thing online, and we'll see. And we'll see. I think the numbers will bear that out, but we'll see. Then again,
that remains to be seen. Okay,
we'll see. And again, part of it is again, it's a question of when or what they won't report. Again, maybe they're waiting for the whole month to end to see how that number looks entirely. I don't know.
Or maybe we'll wait till the end of the summer, before the fall.
Well, no, because they're only keeping it on for the month? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max for only a month.
Oh, so basically they're not including the Labor Day weekend, which they could have actually kind of chimed in on.
No, actually,
but
they probably won't.
The thing is, with this new culture, this new situation in the movie theaters, people aren't going back to see the movie 2, 3, 4 times like they are 2 years ago.
No, they're not.
Seeing it once, and then it's poof, it drops falls like a stone.
Yep.
Well, and I hate to say it, the other part is I think there's a lot of people's reaction is, screw it, I'd rather wait to either rent it or I'll pick it up somewhere else.
Or I'll watch it in my living room.
Yeah.
I watch it in the safety of my own home.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and look, let's be honest. There are a lot of people whose reaction these days is, I really wish I could just watch it in my own fucking home and not have to go to the movies. There are a lot of people who don't like going to movie theaters anymore.
And then the fact that going to the theater in of itself is already an expensive situation already.
Right. Expensive is relative.
Well,
you want to see a movie?
You
want to see a movie? You'll go see it, and you'll spend the money on the popcorn because you want to patronize the theater and you want to have your seat. You want to enjoy the movie-going experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what it is. It's an experience, and you're paying for that experience.
But it is just because, but the fact being is that, the cost of going to a movie theater keeps going up.
Right,
well,
and of course they're trying to make up their losses. They're trying to make up for their losses, and it ends up coming out of the consumers' pockets, trying to make up for the losses.
Well, and the funny part to me is we all know what the cost is of a soda fountain drink. I mean, come on, let's just be honest. I mean, it's pennies on the dollar, and you're charging
300%.
Well, that's because the movie distributors keep 90% of the ticket sales. That's
I understand.
That's how the movie theater makes money.
I mean, the only thing I can say is that at least in the AMC's, okay, you get a refill. And even then it's like, okay, you get a refill. or you can get a couple of refills. Okay, great. Or you can get refills on the popcorn. I mean, I get it. It's just the part where it's like, to me, again, it comes down to, I don't know. I mean, again, part of me is I'm tired of the fact that I feel like people are sitting on top of me all the time. You know, and in fairness, I don't go on certain times of day because of that reason. It's just not, it stops being comfortable and fun. And it's like, okay, well, I don't, you know, I get it. And I mean, I hate to say it, if I got kids, shit.
Uh-huh.
If I got kids, paying $30 on Disney Plus, sold.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like, you know, when Soraya, we went to go see, you know, Suicide Squad over at the theater and everything like that, which of course, you know, even on the bargain day, we both end up paying, you know, $10 each, you know, and so there's $20, and you go ahead and you rack in the popcorn and the soda, there's another $15 already gone. Then of course, when you go for the candy, okay, there's another $10 gone. And,
what kind of candy are you buying for $10?
Well, you know, I mean, there's two of us.
Two of you, okay. I was going to say, $10 for one person for candy. What kind of candy are you buying?
No, but I'm talking about and I'm a family of two, just me and Soraya. Yeah, imagine, you know, you get these families with their, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, or, you know, when they come in broods, you know, when they come in as a brood and everything like that, and and it gets pretty astronomical. Yeah, $30 on Disney Plus. Have all the kids. I can cook my own popcorn. I can make my own food and everything like that. Yep. And I can cover the overhead. You know.
Yeah, movie theater going experience is nice, but how many ovens do they have?
I don't think it's 17.
You guys are gonna go check that, aren't you?
No. We're just going to keep making shit about it because you keep.
Oh, I know, because you guys always got to make shit about shit with me, but that's okay. I don't mind.
So the other big story, and of course after we go, it never fails. Like they're always something that pops the day after we go on. We do our thing.
Always Tuesday morning. There's always some news.
On Tuesdays, there's always something, and this particular Tuesday, it was, and this is the problem that I have with this headline, which is Robin comes out as bisexual, a new Batman comic. And the problem is that when you say that, let me ask you a question. When I say Robin, who do you think of?
Most people, when they think of Robin, they think of the character Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson?
Yeah. But actually there have been, what, 5?
Well, yeah, is it 5? I guess they're
5.
Up to 5.
Up to 5 different characters who put on Robin.
Robin at one point or another.
Well, let's see. So, okay, hold on a second. You got Dick Grayson, you got Jason Todd, you got Tim Drake, you got Damian Wayne, you got the one from the Dark Knight. That's 5.
Yeah.
And then technically Stephanie Brown, who was Spoiler, had played Robin for a period of time. So that's 6. Actually, there's up to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, if you want to count that, yeah.
Well, yeah, she's counted, so yes. But
yeah, this is getting a lot of play in the mainstream.
Well, and the interesting part to me is, my favorite is, like, for example, one of the pictures that I got shown, I mean, clearly on certain pictures, it's clear that it's Tim Drake. It's clear that it's Tim Drake.
Yeah.
But in other pictures
I saw an article with the headline, and then the caption is Damian Wayne. Batman, or Robin.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like for example, I've seen pictures where literally I'm like, okay, they're using a picture that looks like Dick Grayson as Robin, and I'm like, that's not who it is. So that's part of where. And in fairness, you know, this goes back to. So to me, it's going to be interesting, and here's the deal. I think. To me, so it's Tim Drake. Tim Drake is the one who basically has come out as bisexual. And I don't have a problem with that. And in fairness, I used to read that character a lot when he first came out. I picked up his book regularly. In fairness, I haven't bought since 2007 maybe regularly. I did have a period in 2011, 2012 where I picked up some stuff. but I haven't really been buying in a while. And so I can't say from a story progression if this makes sense or not. Now, it's funny, I talked to John Suntress about this, and he said no. As usual, it was just kind of one of those, oh, hey, and by the way, kind of things.
Yeah, it's just another, an offhanded comment.
Right, and so to me, that's too bad. I mean, if they're going to build it out, then that's one thing. But it's just one of those, what frustrates me about this the most is it sounds great now. But I can tell you that one of the things that over the years DC has had problems with is they don't know what to, and we've talked about this before, about they don't know what to do and how to handle things when they start stacking generations of characters on top of generations of characters. Like, for example, we'll see Dick Grayson around as Nightwing, and that's not a problem. But there are certain other characters that start to get lost in the fold as some of these characters, as the generations go on, as you start to go to newer generations. And ironically, Tim Drake was one of them. I mean, at one point he became I think he's back to being the Red Robin now, but at one point they called him the Drake, as in like a freaking duck.
Duck.
Because his last name was Drake. Because his last name was Drake.
Right, because they thought they could just a play on words from his name, right?
Yeah, and again, at times, Tim has been one of those characters who's kind of gotten lost in the fray when they brought in Damian Wayne, who became Robin. So to me, it's kind of one of these where I'm like, if you're going to do this, do you have a plan that you plan on doing and using to keep Tim Drake in the limelight? Or is he going to go back into obscurity again and continue to be a character that you're not sure what you really want to do with this character? Okay. In which case, I gotta be honest, what's going to end up happening is when you don't do certain things with this character, there's going to be some outcry from the LGBTQ community because they're like, hey, why are you not using this character? And so to me, that's the part I look at and go, great, you're making a splash at the moment with this character. Do you have plans on what you plan on doing with this character? And there's that. So the only other thing that bothers me is, once again, we go into that stereotype about Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that tired trope about how that's how the ambiguously gay duo from Saturday Night Live.
And the other part is again, I guess I don't know where they're putting age-wise on Tim Drake these days. Mm-hmm. Last I heard, he was like 12, he was somewhere around 14, maybe. Okay, so now you're making him bisexual, and there already is this trope out there about Batman and Robin
hanging out where Batman's grooming him.
Yeah, and that kind of thing. So now you're calling him out. Now you're making him bisexual. I just don't want that immediately to get turned into that, and that's my concern. Otherwise, I'm kind of fine with it. I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm
are you planning on doing? Are you going to do anything with it?
Yeah.
If you're not going to do anything with it, and you're not going to do much with the character, and you're not going to build out the character to do things with it, then why are you doing it for?
Has this book come out yet?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And again, it's part of another different book. So, like some other Batman book that I'm not even sure what it is.
Okay. Well, don't forget, you can't spell Robin without bi.
Wow.
Truth.
Wow. Really? That's
I had to write it down for the show notes. I mean, I'm looking at it.
Well. That's just really. That's so bad.
Oh, and all this shit about Horatio, and all this shit about Horatio Sands now. This lawsuit from this girl. That sucks.
I guess Powerpuff Girls is out of the series. Left the series.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
And so now that thing's up in the air, and maybe that's a good thing because. I hope it works.
Yeah, I would have liked to see, but I mean, some of their villains, some of their rogues gallery is pretty awesome, and I hope they don't mess it up with this live action version.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could see. I don't know if I could visualize a live action version of Fuzzy Lumpkins. Get off my property.
I was kind of looking forward to a live action Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, that is their main villain. Yeah.
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah.
And of course, here I'm directing my next throw here to Mike. Okay, and I'm sure you guys have seen the promotionals out for the new My Little Pony movie.
No, don't care.
No.
It's not G4, it's G5, it's something totally different. It's not, no, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I noticed, I noticed several different things. One,
well, it's CG for one thing. It's not like cel-drawn animation, but it's still in Flash, maybe, but it's not the cel-drawn animation from the G4 series.
From the series,
the Lauren Faust series. No.
No. Then, of course, what I've noticed about the story.
What is it?
What?
What have you noticed?
No, I just noticed that because when in the series, it seems like every pony lives in such harmony and everything, but now in this motion picture, there seems to be such discord. Excuse my term. And
well, if you have characters agreeing with each other all the time, it makes for boring television.
Yep.
Well, I mean, but you got this thing where now the Earth ponies are now like, they're scared of the unicorns, and of course, then they brought in another pony, which of course I think was kind of a hinting of putting in a gay character into the whole pony franchise and all of this other stuff, and I'm just like sitting there thinking to myself,
I'm thinking why Ivan is watching My Little Pony.
No, I'm just telling you what I saw in the rushes and what I noticed. And yes, I used to watch My Little Pony. Okay,
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't. It's going. Hasbro's taking it in a new direction. I mean, the G4 series has gone on this long. The show went for 7 seasons. They put out a movie, and now they've letting it lay to rest. And they're starting anew, and this new direction. I don't know. It's.
And I know Lauren. I know Lauren Faust. I think did she leave? In the 3rd season or in the 4th?
No, she left before season 2 ended. She.
Okay.
She wanted, I think, more control, but this was Hasbro's baby because she wrote the Bible for the series, but she didn't really.
But she didn't. Yeah, she didn't.
That was it. And she had a lot of say in how season 1 was put out, but then. The show went in directions she didn't like, and she disassociated herself with it.
Yeah, well, understood. I know
she's done some other projects. I think she was going to do some Medusa movie that never came to fruition. Would have been cool. I know she did that DC Superhero Girls.
Yeah,
I think that's in a bunch of vignettes or something.
Yes, they're little 5-minute clips.
Yeah. She was behind that, but
yeah, which I liked. I liked the designs that she did for the superhero girls. Was really,
some of the animation that's out there now ain't too bad. I should. You know what, Jeff? You and I should try and watch a second episode of Jellystone. See what we think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just my problem with it.
Just for shits and giggles, I should watch some of that Jellystone. Come back on Monday.
Do you have HBO Max, Ivan?
I'll just go ahead and get it on my phone. I'll work it out.
Okay, good. Work it out.
Work it out.
Work it out,
bro. Work it out.
So, we got anything else?
I do have a couple other things just for shits and giggles.
Okay.
So I guess, there's the Star Wars cruise.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's information about that. There's information about that.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's going to be pretty damn expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, you hit something that just kind of lit a bulb up in my head. Okay, is Disney currently working on revitalizing a Star Wars situation? I read that I guess they're going to revamp something from the Star Wars universe, and that a lot of people are not happy about it.
I don't know.
We're fans. There's lots of things we're not happy about.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. I mean. Yeah,
okay,
there's lots of things that we're not happy about. I mean, I've heard stories about them redoing episodes 7, 8, and 9, and maybe doing them as animated. I don't know. To me,
well, the animated one was the thing that I'm hearing the throngs of groans behind.
I
this
just feel like you've done it. You've done what you've done, and let's just move on. Let's move on. Let's do a couple other things. I mean, I know there's other stuff in the works, but nothing's really been announced about. Well, no, I take it back. What's her name is doing a movie. The Rogue Squadron thing. The one who
that's
did
still in the work. Yeah.
Well, the one who did Wonder Woman. That now I'm a little concerned because Wonder Woman 2 was horrible.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, that
was bad.
Even Mando couldn't fix that film.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I mean that was what should have been great. You know, I mean that just.
Yeah, no, that was. It's like, how could you go from a great movie to suck that bad? I mean, I don't know.
When movies shouldn't extend themselves beyond their story expiration date. You know, sure, they have to sit there and extend movies into 2s and 3s and 4s. Sometimes, you know what? One movie's enough.
No, that's not the well, again, now, in fairness, I've heard some people who really liked what they did at the end and how they did it, and I just am like, no, it didn't work for me. And in fairness, I didn't like the hey, we're gonna create a MacGuffin, yay! I'm like, oh God, another MacGuffin, come on.
What the hell is that?
With that, whatever the heck it was at the time, but I don't know. We'll see. So they're doing this thing, this Galactic Star Cruiser, and I guess it's going to be where like you can like role play on the boat and all this kind of stuff.
Oh boy,
and all that.
You get LARPers. Oh no, there's LARPers on the ship.
So apparently that's a possibility, and
okay.
Like you can then they're okay. Let's see what it says. Which let's see where can I start here? They check in and board on board a launch pod that takes them to the Halcyon, a luxurious Star Wars cruise ship. The experience simulates flying in space, and all the windows aboard the Halcyon look into space. Once on board, the guests begin their respective adventures, which include sabacc lessons, exploring the bridge, dining in the Crown of Corellia dining room, lightsaber training, and more. Star Wars characters, including aliens and droids, appear throughout the ship and engage guests in storylines. Guests can participate as much as they want to. The trip includes a visit to, Galaxy's Edge in the Disney's
also, they're poured at Universal or whatever down there in Florida.
All right, so let's get to it.
Yeah, let's.
Starting in August or September of 2022.
Yes.
How much do we think for 2 guests a standard cabin is?
Jedi takes no work out of me, only money. 3,000. I'm gonna say 3,000, Jeff.
I say 4. I say 4.
Ivan is closer. It's 4,809. If you've got 3,
that's a head. That's per.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess
for the full. Is that for the full experience?
I don't know. I assume. I hope so.
Jeez.
Well, yeah, for that kind of money, it better be the whole fucking experience. I mean, shit, that's a lot of cash.
My favorite is that you can go more and get an even better cabin, and I can't imagine what that looks like. But
well, I mean, we paid our money. We paid our money to be, when I went to Disney with Soraya back in 2009, and she wanted to be in Cinderella's bedroom, which of course is in the castle, which is in the center of the universe, and everything like that. Yeah, you're gonna pay for it. Yeah, so yeah, $4,000. I better get all the bells and whistles.
That's 4,900.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's $5,000. That's a lot of fucking change.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, and that doesn't include your taxes or anything like that, too.
Fees and all that shit. Yeah.
Right. The only other thing I'll bring up before I get to the one thing that I think will be funny and you guys will get a kick out of. So Friday, AEW Wrestling is here in town in Chicago. in what seems to be the worst kept secret on the planet Earth, CM Punk is supposedly returning that night to pro wrestling. And so it will be very interesting to see how that goes, and see how that works out.
Will this event be live online?
It's going to be at TNT.
Okay, it's going to be live on TNT. Okay.
It'll be live on TNT. It'll be what would be 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. It's a 1-hour show.
You can buy seats to this? Can you get in?
Oh, it's sold out.
Oh, really?
It's at the United Center. It's totally sold out because everybody
thinks CM
Punk. Yeah, because they think CM Punk's coming back.
Are they at full capacity?
Supposedly.
Wow. Okay.
Supposedly. That's like 30,000 people. There's your spreader event.
Yeah, there's your super spreader. CM Punk is your super spreader.
Yeah, CM Punk is your super spreader, all right. So yeah, I mean, and the funny part is they're doing a pay-per-view here in a couple of weeks, and I kind of laugh because it's like, that's kind of sold out too because people think he's back. And everything sounds, like they've hinted, like, you don't want to miss it.
Oh.
Like they won't say what's happening or what's going to happen, but they're making it sound like he's back, and everybody's making it sound that way. So, obviously one way or the other, I'll at least tape it just to see what the hell happens.
Okay.
But boy, I'll tell you what, if he doesn't show up, ooh boy, you better have one hell of a surprise if it's not him.
Yeah.
Because
The
that
wrestling
arena,
nerds will riot.
forget the wrestling nerds. We're talking about the Chicago wrestling nerds who have been waiting for CM Punk to show up in a wrestling ring and since God, I can't remember when he walked out of WWE. But I mean, we're talking about hometown CM Punk in Chicago. Oh yeah, you better deliver on CM Punk, or you better have something godlike that you're bringing.
You gotta have something out fucking standing if I'm.
I don't know who you could bring in other than him if it's not him that the fans would not basically go ape shit bullshit riot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who you could bring in at that point. I mean, there's a part of me where I'm like, glad I'm not going to be. There's a part of me where it'd be cool to be there. There's another part of me where I'm glad I'm not there.
Now it's been 6 years since Roddy Piper died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that. Wow, you really went there, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Hey,
Just think about,
Hey guys, just real quick, total left turn over here. Yeah, you guys know about what's happening with Marvel Studios' next superhero, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings?
We talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Shang-Chi he's a lesser known character, obviously. It's being brought to the forefront because they're expanding the MCU beyond the Avengers because they want to have a Marvel Cinematic Universe and not have to pay Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo and Chris Evans all the time.
Well, they're trying to do a couple other things too.
That and just to diversify and representation matters, and that's obviously part of that too. But then they want to, and that the Chinese box office makes them a lot of money too.
Well, get this. It's going to be in theaters September 3rd.
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Really? Yes. We just talked about that.
Yes, we did.
Yep. September 3rd.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. They're trying to cash it. They're trying to cash in on that Labor Day money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Witness the origin of Marvel Studios' next superhero in this brand new featurette for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just had to, kind of, happen upon that.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so
the only other thing I got is, so apparently, and I put this on, this was posted through something called Everyday Sexism Project from Denmark. And apparently there's this guy who's and the only reason I'm gonna do this is I thought you guys will get a kick out of this. So this guy who's kind of sexist sat there and said, why do women train for ripped abs? It's because they want to look like men. Truthfully, it's gross. Lips and tits and hips. What the hell, man? Where am I getting this echo?
Ivan, I think it's on your
I don't know. No, not me.
All right, continue.
Lips, tips, and hips. Men are simple. We want classic beauty of a feminine hourglass shape. At no time in history did men ever want women with ripped abs. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is because let Twitter show it what Twitter does best. This is from a guy named James Fell. He says, "Hi, historian here. I'm comfortable in saying that in no time in history have women ever wanted you." This next person as an archaeologist. I concur, and I feel comfortable adding prehistory to this that nobody ever wanted you. The next person, an English creative major here. There isn't a believable character in the literary universe who would want you either. Any editor worthy of the job would call BS on even the most desperate fictional women interested in you. The next one is astronomer here, willing to go out on a limb and expand your assertion to the whole of space as well as time that nobody is interested in this guy Richard.
Twitter just putting him down, leaving out the roast.
Hi, billing analyst here. Not even during COVID-19 times women and want half of a man like you, not even to pay her bill. A dentist woman here, and I asked many women, they would rather have a root canal and an extraction without anesthesia than date you. Let's see. At Cornell University, they have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as a tunneling electron microscope. This microscope is so powerful that firing on electrons, you can actually see images of an atom that are infinitesimally small, minute building blocks of our universe. Richard, if I were using the microscope right now, I wouldn't even be able to locate a woman's interest in you. I'm an archaeologist, and my team has spent countless hours digging down to the center of the earth, searching for who even asked you. Woman here, there's a reason Dick is short for Richard.
Whoa.
Programmer here, I'm fairly certain no artificial intelligence would want anything to do with Richard Cooper either. Hi, publisher here. I can confirm that not even a fictional woman would even want to be in the same room as this dude. Mental health clinician here. I would like to point out that Richard is a DSMV under douchebag. I don't get that.
Okay.
Botanist here. I can also assert that the plant kingdom has no desire to interact with Richard Cooper either. And this one here is, hi, firefighter here. In my 35 years in fire service, I've never seen burns this severe before.
Yeah.
The best, and here's the scary part. If you go into the actual post, okay, when you go into the comment section, it gets even better. I swear to God, it gets better. I mean, if you really want a good laugh, I mean, just go through this.
There are images of this Twitter thread on our Squares page.
Yeah, and by the way, and you know, I made a note when we posted it to our page that, you know, on behalf of the Squares of the Roundtable podcast, no Richard Cooper, none of us are interested in you, nor are we interested in helping your ass. So
and there you go.
So there you go. So I figured you guys would get a kick out of that, and I thought I was. I don't know, Mike. You got any chic or?
Yeah, we'll throw a couple of nuggets of joy our way just to close out here.
Chic of the week.
The Iron Chic tweet of the week. If you're on Twitter, follow us at SOTRT Podcast. But if you're on Twitter, you need to follow _Iron Chic.
I've noticed that he started putting some of his stuff on Facebook, just not regularly enough.
Okay. He likes the Twitter.
He likes the Twitter a lot more.
Yeah, he's not been busy these last couple weeks. He's got a few out, such as this one. Take a minute of your day to be nice to someone, you dumb son of a bitch.
This one's from yesterday. Fact check. You are a no good dumb son of a bitch. He's still fascinated by trying to figure out what the fuck Grimace is.
Grimace, well, it was evil Grimace. He was a monster.
And
Last
week we did have a Friday the 13th on last week.
Yeah, we did.
So he tweets, "Today is Friday the 13th, ? Perfect day. I wait for that jabroni Jason to come out for me, and I'll beat the fuck out of that dumb son of a bitch."
Yep. Let's see. If you ever bring me a Sprite when I order an ice cold beer, I will beat the fuck out of you, you no cap Bubba. This is kind of amusing. Bring back Blink 182. Enough of this Blink 183 bullshit, Bubba. Get it together and go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What
Apparently
else
Wednesday was Hulk Hogan's birthday.
Yep.
Hey.
We posted this on the Squares
Yes.
page about Hulk Hogan's birthday. Yeah, he's been kind of a little slower lately because it's no doubt. It's a little bit slower for the Sheik lately. Maybe he went on vacation or something.
So he posted a picture of the Hulkster saying, "Happy birthday, Hulk Hogan, you dumb son of a bitch."
Yep. Through thick or thin, go fuck yourself. Yep. Gotta love that. This is good. So I guess Bovada posted something that said, "No matter what the Iron Sheik says, Hulk Hogan is a wrestling legend. Happy birthday, Hulk." Well, the amusing part is, Sheik clapped back. "Don't get smart with me, otherwise I suplex all of you." Like I said, it's
So the Iron Sheik is on Twitter. So please, highly recommend you follow him.
Twitter
if you want a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitter Sheik.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
So that'll do for this week, huh?
Yeah, I guess I think we all had a nice, fulfilling session over here at the old Squares of the Round Table. Where can they find us, Mike?
We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe, to get the content. You can follow us on Facebook. That's where we have all our memes and articles and funny stories and stuff we like to share. Download the show on your usual podcast hosting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor.fm/SOTRT. Jeff is everywhere at Steinamite Productions. Jivan is on Jivan Ivan. He has his own Vibe Tribe on Facebook. You can follow him.
Yeah.
For a little more risque kind of jokes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, a little racy, little.
Yeah,
more
if you thought the Squares page was something, wait till you go see
Jeff
Ivan's
Jivan Ivan's Vibe Tribe page here on Facebook. So yeah, make your way on down, and I'll be jumping down in there every now and again and everything like that. Now that I've pretty much kind of retired away from spinning for a bit,
the spinning drama.
Right round.
The spinning drama. Yeah.
Right round.
Email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com.
You got it. Thanks,
hey,
everybody.
real fast before we go, I just want to mention, so Sunday night, I am doing a special show in case anybody's listening. I am doing a special show. It's Toastmasters night. We're going to start at 8:30 Central rather than 9:30 on Clubhouse.
Okay.
So it should be cool. We're going to have 10 amazing storytellers that night and maybe a couple other surprises. And that's right before the Toastmasters International Convention. So I figure we do Toastmasters night. We're going to have a good time with it.
Ooh, all right.
By the way, Mike, just an FYI, I think we'll talk about it in 2 weeks because I'll go. So I have tickets for the Museum of Science and Industry to check out the Marvel exhibit.
Oh, cool.
Downtown. So
take pictures.
I will definitely try to do that. My understanding is I'm going to have to wear a mask the whole time. So there's that. So
bring your Instamatic.
My Instamatic? What the hell? I'm not in the 80s anymore. Come on, man.
Instamatic? Yeah. What? Film.
Is that like hydroponic or hydrosonic or lightning or
hyperbonic?
She's my hydromatic woman, fastest girl in town. Catch you next week, folks.
All right, everybody, have a good night. See you next time. Next week, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, but how many ovens do we have?
1.
17.